I got your wig, ho. Ha ha. You're mad. Miss Wikiana. Miss Wig. Miss Wikiana. Miss Wig.
Wasn't thinking about
race. I know you weren't.
I'm not here to educate you. That's not my job. I don't have the bandwidth to do it. But I feel like you need to be aware of who you're talking to and when you're talking to them and what you say. I don't think anybody here is racist, and I can just say that.
No.
you're nowhere near more educated than the rest of us. By the way, child bride.
Girl. No, okay? The girls are already eating you up about the situation of you and Garcelle and how they feel you were being racist towards her, and you bringing up that you're Jewish to relate to her struggles as a black woman. That's already a no-no. And now you're calling a woman of, I believe, Asian descent a child bride when that is popularized. I can't even say that fucking word. When it is popular. Oh my God, I cannot speak. Somebody speak for me. When it is popular in certain cultures and countries and continents in this bitch. Yes, that's what I mean to say, or that's not what I mean to say, but that's what's going to come out of my mouth. Okay? Dorit, I don't think you should say that at all to anybody, but especially a woman of culture. I don't think that's the right choice to use.
You've been going in on social media, and it seems like your comments are sort of shading one specific cast member. Here are some examples of that. Let's take a little look.
I usually don't clap back on social media. I usually lay low. But, you know, when you take it too far, meaning my marriage, Rob, hip hop Rob, I'm going to protect him and me. And so, yeah, that's what happened. And I feel very good about it.
Oh, okay. You know what? Feeling good that you were triggered and ready to go this year.
I can't imagine that was great hearing.
No, it wasn't. I think, like I said, I think it's okay to clap back on the show. That's what we do. I just felt like it was a loaded comment directed at me because half the girls got married younger than me, and other girls married men with a wider age range. So why that was directed at me seems there's been a pattern.
The U.S. government criticizes other countries that allow child marriages. But it turns out that here in the U.S., hundreds of thousands of young girls have gotten married over the last 10 years, and they did it legally. Now, there's an organization known as Unchained at Last, and they do studies and they look into the issue of child marriage here in the United States. And so they looked at data from 2000 to 2010, and what they found was that girls as young as 12 years old get married off here in the United States. So apparently their laws in 27 states do not specify an age below which a child cannot marry, right? So most states indicate that you have to be 18 years old in order to get married, but some states make exceptions. So for instance, if you're in Idaho and you have an underage daughter that you want to marry off, all you have to do is give the courts your consent as a parent, and that young girl can get married. Now, in 38 states, more than 167,000 children, almost all of them girls, some of them as young as 12, were married during that period, again, 2000 to 2010, mostly to men 18 or older. And that's estimated that the total number of children wed in America between 2000 and 2010 was nearly 248,000.
Wow. But I hope the mullahs who married him are happy and proud. This is one of the reasons that people sometimes give as to why we should invade Middle Eastern countries.
Yes, that's exactly right.
You know that they married off the kids. Oh, look at these pedos or pedos or whatever they are, marrying off the kids at 12, 13. Now, that's not a bad point, of course, in that that's a terrible way to conduct affairs. It's not a good point as to why we should invade them. If you think it's a good reason as to why we should invade them, West Virginia and Idaho, buckle up because we're about to invade you. And so we don't pick those states out of nowhere. Obviously, some parts of the country are more used to this than others.
Right. And look, I think that our audience is smart, and they know that anytime someone uses that excuse to invade a country, it's not really about protecting young girls from child marriages. There are all sorts of other very corrupt reasons why we invade other countries. But here in the United States, this is an issue that you see in various religions. It's not just Muslims or Christians. You also see this trend with some Orthodox Jews as well. So it doesn't matter what the religion is. You see it with fundamentalists in the country. Also, at least 31% of these girls were married to a spouse aged 21 years or older, which is insane. Some children were married at an age or with a spousal age difference that constitutes statutory rape under their state's laws.
So that's the most important part. So look, some of these, I understand 18-year-old guys getting married to a 17-year-old girl, and the world's not going to end. Now, I think that is way too young to get married, but that's like my opinion, man, and it's a free country. And so their parents give them consent, and it's not a federal issue, okay? Now, if you have someone above the age of 21 marrying someone as low as 12, 13, et cetera, and that is actually statutory rape, unless the parents give consent for that to happen, then we've got a real issue.
I know that in this case, these young girls don't feel like they have an option because their parents are pressuring them into doing this. But if you can hold off as long as you can.
But we are having a good time, you guys. This was not
If you have to say it like that, we're not having a good time.
I'm saying that because you just attacked me.
I did not attack you. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. After that, I cried to sleep, and I woke up, and I wasn't better. I mean, the word attack.
I'm very, very sorry that I've triggered a nerve and I've offended you or upset you or any of it. And I would love to have a conversation with you about it.
I'm good.
Just so you understand that this little bubble that I lived in that you believe is actually very different. My father's Israeli. I mean, you do realize I'm Jewish, Garcelle. Both being from marginalized communities, that we would have some common ground, far more than differences. We moved when I was very young because we lived in a town where we're the only Jewish people. And my brother and I, people were saying anti-Semitic remarks to us.
I understand.
Whatsoever. But I felt very much like it wasn't a fair characterization of me. So if there's anything I say or do that for whatever reason triggers you, please tell me, please. Because I will make sure, no matter what, that I never say it or do it. I want to leave the floor to you because I know.
I appreciate that.
You know,
yeah.
You've said that you don't feel like I hear you, and I really want to make sure that not only I do, but you feel like I do.
I appreciate that. So I would like to go first. Thank you for sharing that. And I think that's, if I can say one thing, I know we all talk about the Birkins and the bags and the fashion, but this is the stuff that really runs us. Hearing your side of it, it's a human experience. And you don't know what triggers someone because you don't know where they've been.
I think the way I speak is probably a combination of many things. First and foremost, I am married to a Brit who's got a very, very strong London accent, and I'm sure some of his inflections have sort of rolled over on me. My parents are not American. I was born and raised in America. I did spend a significant amount of time, nearly 10 years, back and forth going to Europe. I spent a lot of time working all over the world, and in various places of the world where people didn't speak English all that well, I had a tendency to over-enunciate. So I think at times some of my English is part that and part inflection.
Di vino? Vino bianco magari?
Bianco, qualche preferenza?
Che c'hai?
Chardonnay, un Pinot Grigio.
Un Pinot Grigio.
Pinot Grigio.
Hey, Andy, you look gorgeous.
In Hebrew?
Yeah.
אתה מאוד חתיך.
Thank you.
I speak 4 languages.
And you know, being around a lot of Europeans and a lot of Brits, you just become like a product of your environment, really. But I speak, that's who I am. That's the way I speak. I don't hear it. My husband doesn't hear it, but it's definitely become a topic of conversation. My Spanish gets very confused with the Italian because they're so similar, and I speak better Italian than I do Spanish. But I spoke Spanish before Italian. So there's the, the dichotomy. Hebrew, my father's Israeli, but I wasn't raised speaking Hebrew. And I wanted to learn when I was a teenager. So I would insist that my father only speak to me in Hebrew. I would love to learn Chinese, which is very difficult. French, I think, is my next one because I love it. I can understand it, but I can't really speak it. Oh, and then there's just so many others I'd love to learn.
Ew. Like JK, but like maybe not. But thank you for watching. But you hating ass bitches always have something to say. Hating ass bitch, but you're still watching my vids. What? You're so upset. But that's like okay, because have a piece of bread, have a Xanax, relax, because I said what I said.